time blocking the way your brain likes it. Instead of relying on raw effort to control your schedule, you can arrange your time to move with your brain's natural rhythm. This is where time blocking, done the way your brain actually likes it, becomes a real tool instead of just another calendar system. Most of us imagine focus as a switch. Sit down, turn it on, and keep it running as long as possible. But attention doesn't work like that. Concentration comes in waves that rise and fall about every 90 minutes. These are called ultradian rhythms, and they're built into your biology. You've felt them before, the first stretch where you're sharp and efficient, followed by the dip where you suddenly feel restless, start yawning, or drift toward distractions. That dip isn't laziness. It's your brain signaling that the block has ended. Think of how work feels across a day. At the start of a session, things click more easily. 20 minutes in, you're locked in. Around the halfway mark of an hour, cracks appear, fidgeting, glancing at tabs, mental drift. Push 60 to 90 minutes and fatigue sets in. Most people override that by forcing through or task switching, but brute force against biology rarely works. The outcome is sloppy progress and exhaustion. Aligning your schedule with those waves flips the situation. You're not grinding harder, you're swimming with the current. Research backs the range, too. Productivity experts often recommend focused work intervals anywhere from 25 minutes on the short end to 90 minutes at full length. The key isn't sticking to one fixed number, but matching the block to the type of work. A quick email burst, 25 minutes with a 5-minute rest works well. Drafting a paper or planning a project, you may need 90 minutes of uninterrupted focus before you return for a full reset break. In other words, block size follows task difficulty. This is where methods like the Pomodoro technique come into play. Pomodoro uses 25 minutes of focused effort with a 5-minute pause. It's accessible, especially when you're starting out or handling tasks that feel overwhelming. For those able to sustain longer arcs, the 90-minute model captures the full wave of peak concentration, followed by a meaningful recovery pause of 15 to 20 minutes. Some people alternate. Shorter bursts during admin-heavy stretches of the day, longer arcs when tackling demanding creative or analytical work. The trade-off is flexibility. Choose the tool based on what fits the task and your current energy levels. Let's run an example. Say you're writing an essay. Instead of chopping that work into multiple 10-minute slices between other obligations, you schedule a clean 90-minute block. Phone out of reach, notifications silenced, one document open. The first part feels like warming up, ideas forming halfway in, then flow taking over. You lose sense of time until fatigue cues you around minute 75. Rather than fighting further, you end at 90, stand up, and reset. When you come back after a break, the momentum is easier to pick up because the brain had time to consolidate. Now compare that to trying to fill 10 minutes between chats. You never reach the deep layer where things feel almost effortless. If 90 minutes feels out of range, scale down. Many with ADHD, for instance, find that expecting long blocks creates failure loops. In that case, use 15 30-minute cycles, which are already adapted in ADHD-friendly versions of Pomodoro. Shorter sprints create achievable wins, and over time, some may grow those into longer arcs. The point is choice. Your schedule bends to your attention rhythm instead of pretending everybody operates the same way. Another adjustment is when you schedule blocks. Energy isn't flat, it tends to peak earlier in the day. For most people, mornings are prime ground for deep work. That's when you should block 1 or 2 sessions for demanding tasks, coding, design, writing, planning. Save the valleys of attention for lower stakes activity, like answering DMs, organizing chores, or handling calendar invites. That way you're not wasting your sharpest hours on shallow output, leaving no clarity left for projects that actually require it. Time blocking also kills multitasking at its root. When you explicitly schedule a 90-minute wave for one task, you set context. You're not choosing between 5 things mid-block, you've already decided on one. Shallow tasks cluster outside that window, grouped together in lighter blocks later. This batching removes constant start-stop momentum shifts. Instead of restarting flow every few minutes, you arrive and stay long enough for creativity or precision to kick in. Rest is the glue that holds all this together. People often skip recovery, assuming breaks are indulgence, but the brain relies on them. Those 15 to 20 minutes between 90-minute waves aren't wasted, they're the moment your mind files short-term work into longer-term memory and recharges attention. Skip them, and the next block collapses sooner. Even with short bursts like Pomodoro, that 5-minute pause exists for a reason. Rest isn't the absence of productivity, it's the condition that makes the next round possible. Notice how this alters the view of a calendar. Standard schedules are chopped into half-hour rectangles, an architecture that ignores how cognition actually flows. If you can reorganize a day around 2 or 3 major focus waves with built-in breaks, then slot lighter clusters in the dips, you experience both efficiency and lower fatigue. Fewer things will spill into overtime because deep tasks shrink when done in aligned states. The payoff arrives quickly. Less scattered starts, smoother focus, better creative leaps, and crucially, more energy left at the end of the day. Instead of feeling wrung out by lunch, you still have something left to give by evening, which matters if you're balancing study, work, and social life. Matching task weight to focus cycles is not about doing more hours, it's about getting more traction from the hours you already have. The mistake would be expecting perfection immediately. Schedules always leak. A meeting cuts into a wave. A notification interrupts. That's expected. The value grows from repetition, not flawless setups. Each time you resist the extra task mid-block and return focus, you strengthen the pattern. Each real break instead of mindless scrolling reinforces rest instead of noise. That accumulation builds a foundation. So time blocking in sync with your brain isn't a rigid formula. It's a framework you can experiment with 25 minutes, 45 minutes, 90 minutes, until you find your personal arc. It draws from biology, productivity research, and lived trial. And once blocks start feeling natural, you realize the external noise isn't the only thing stealing attention. The inner reflex to reach for distraction fills any void you leave. Managing those impulses requires not just structure over your time, but deliberate replacements for every urge to check. That's the next step, what you choose to do in the exact moment your hand twitches toward the phone. The productive replacement switch. What unlocks real change isn't trying harder to suppress cravings, but learning to channel them. That's where the productive replacement switch comes in. The idea is simple. Every time you feel the impulse to scroll, you swap it with a pre-chosen micro-task, something small enough to finish in the same time a quick scroll would have taken, but meaningful enough to leave a trace of progress. It's not about fighting the urge until it breaks you, it's about redirecting it. When your brain demands relief, you give it relief, only on your terms. This is why replacement works better than elimination. If you just try to cut out scrolling with nothing to fill the gap, your brain resists. Habits hate empty windows. Remove the instant outlet without providing an alternative, and the craving grows louder, not weaker. Substitution is the key. Small actions that deliver relief while steering your energy toward useful outcomes. It isn't suppression, it's repurposing. Start by building a simple menu of pre-approved micro-replacements. These should be low effort, quick, and repeatable so you don't waste time deciding in the moment. For example, jot one sentence in a notes app. Open your calendar and schedule a single task you've been avoiding. Do a 2-minute stretch to ease tension. Read a single page of a book or highlight-lined article. Run a 2-minute language lesson in Duolingo. Clear one email from your inbox. Capture a stray idea that's been bubbling in your head before it drifts away. With 6 to 8 options like these ready, you can remove friction and ensure that your craving doesn't stall in indecision. Let's imagine how it works. You're waiting for a meeting to start. Instinct kicks in pocket, unlock, scroll. But instead of defaulting to a feed, you switch. You open your notes app, jot a thought, or check tomorrow's calendar. 30 seconds later, the meeting begins, and instead of wasting the gap, you've cleared clutter from your mind or taken small control of your responsibilities. At scale, these moments add up far more than you realize. The script to carry into those moments is short and practical. Swap 2 minutes, one small win, repeat it whenever the pull arises. That line anchors the habit so you're not scrambling to remember what to do. Swap reminds you to redirect, not resist. 2 minutes sets the time boundary so the replacement feels doable. One small win promises the payoff, something checked, something cleared, something gained. Say the phrase as you catch the urge and act on it immediately. Over time, it becomes automatic. The real power of micro-replacements is in their accumulation. Taken individually, each action looks insignificant, but scroll urges don't happen once a day. They appear dozens of times, often more. If 30 cravings show up and just half are replaced, that's 15 productive micro-actions by default. 15 notes captured, stretches completed, emails cleared, pages read, tasks scheduled. Multiply that daily tally across weeks, and what once dissolved into distraction becomes a steady current of meaningful progress. The evidence from habit research is clear. Small, repeated actions compound faster than occasional bursts. It's true that replacements don't deliver the instant fireworks of a feed. Scrolling floods your brain with quick novelty. Micro-actions, at first, feel flat compared to flashing updates, but the satisfaction comes in a more durable form. Look back after 5 urges swapped with notes, stretches, and one-page reads, and you see progress where time used to vanish. The craving still gets answered, but instead of ending with regret, you're left with momentum. That difference builds confidence. Your urges aren't robbing you, they're serving you. This shift even ripples into social settings. Consider a lull in conversation over dinner. The instinct is to grab the phone, hide in a feed until the silence passes. But a replacement there is social. Ask the person a question you've been meaning to, or share a story you've put off. Instead of retreating, you engage. Over many repetitions, those moments stitch into stronger relationships because you've turned distraction impulses into prompts for connection. Skeptics sometimes worry that micro-replacements are too shallow to matter. But the standard alternative, scrolling, adds nothing at all. A cleared email, a calendar adjustment, a short language lesson, a single line of reflection, these add up into small but tangible wins. The cascade effect follows the math. 10 urges turned into 10 micro-tasks per day equals 60 or 70 per week. That volume of unfinished clutter redirected into action reshapes your life faster than you'd imagine. What seemed negligible becomes momentum, compounding quietly in the background. Over weeks of practice, the craving itself starts to shift meaning. At first, it feels like an itch to scratch. Later, you experience it as a resource to mine. The buzz or phantom vibration doesn't trigger guilt anymore, it cues opportunity. You begin to look forward to each urge because you've reframed it. What once hollowed out your time now fills it. That reframe dissolves the feeling of being trapped. Instead of being hijacked by impulse, you've enlisted the impulse into service. Notice how this makes the phone less central. Right now, devices own the first and last word on your time. They claim the spare seconds, dictate your reflexes, carve out your nightstand routines. By shifting urges into productive sparks, you loosen that hold. But environment still matters. Even with replacements, certain windows of the day remain fragile when your brain is at its most impressionable and your energy sets its strongest default. Those windows have the power to multiply this shift or undo it. And that's where the next adjustment becomes crucial. Reclaiming the first and last hour. The strongest lever you have to change your day isn't the middle, it's the bookends. Reclaiming the first and last hour of your day shapes how every other hour unfolds. Those windows act like anchors. What you do right after waking and right before sleeping sets the tone your mind carries into everything between. The challenge is that most people surrender these moments to their phones. That first grab of the device in the morning and the final scroll before bed feel routine. But in practice, they dictate whether your days run with intent or drift into reaction. Mornings are the most fragile point. In the first minutes after waking, your brain is shifting from slow, restorative rhythms into alert states. Think of it as coming online, slowly powering up. The input you choose in this window teaches your nervous system what mode to run in. Open a phone and you're immediately flooded with demands, messages, headlines, alerts. That flood doesn't just wake you up, it primes your brain to react instead of create. One glance snowballs. Instead of deciding the morning yourself, you live the priorities flashing from a screen. That cycle rarely breaks once it starts. The alternative is simple but powerful. Skip the device in that vulnerable hour and start with something physical and present. Drink water, stretch, step outside for fresh air. Even 2 or 3 minutes of low-effort journaling or planning creates a steadier launch. Researchers and media psychologists point out that mornings free from digital input improve both mood and creative output. Your mind gets the chance to wander, form its own connections, and generate ideas instead of just consuming headlines or updates. By opening with tasks anchored in your own priorities, writing a line, reviewing a plan, you strengthen the muscles of focus before friction even arrives. Of course, many people explain that they need their phone by the bed as an alarm. That's solvable. Use an analog clock on your nightstand or even a basic, dumb phone that does nothing but ring at a set time. The Times and productivity sources consistently recommend this $5 swap because it removes the primary excuse while cutting off the reflex to swipe open a glowing screen. Even the act of reaching for a different device in the morning breaks the loop, preventing the chain from starting. Another option is to place your smartphone in the kitchen overnight. That way, you must physically leave your room to see it, a design tweak that delays input by at least an hour. With those safeguards, the morning shifts from default reaction into deliberate control. Evenings mirror the same pattern in reverse. As bedtime approaches, your brain prepares for rest by lowering arousal and slowing frequency. The last input you allow into this state carries more force than you realize. If you end the day with feeds or flashing screens, you pump fresh stimulation into a system trying to quiet down. That delays sleep onset and makes what rest you do get lighter and less restorative. Over time, the debt leaves mornings heavier and concentration thinner, pulling the loop tighter. The light from screens delivers another silent blow. Blue spectrum light tricks the brain into delaying melatonin release, which is the hormone that signals readiness for sleep. A late-night scroll doesn't just steal minutes, it interrupts the neurochemistry that lets your body drop into proper rest. That's why many wake up feeling tired despite technically getting enough hours. The depth wasn't there because the inputs before bed kept the nervous system too alert. There's also the question of what information you close the day with. News alerts, dramatic exchanges on social media, endless short videos, none of these offer calm closure. Instead of winding down, your thoughts fragment, leaving subconscious residue that lingers into the next day. What you see last often replays in your head, sometimes through dreams, sometimes in morning moods. Clutter your mind with noise at night, and you wake to scattered attention in the morning. The remedy parallels the morning structure. Set a clear off-ramp for digital input. About 60 minutes before sleep, place your phone in another room. If you need it accessible for emergencies, reduce stimulation by silencing apps, flipping the screen face down, and placing it out of sight. Then transition into analog routines. Light reading, stretching, journaling, or even simple conversation replaces input with wind-down activities. The benefit is twofold. First, you teach your mind what to expect, giving your body consistent signals for rest. Second, you cut off the brain's demand for novelty, which helps attention settle into clarity. Most people underestimate how strong the pull is during these hours, not because of weakness, but because of vulnerability. In the morning, you're groggy, running on low effort, and the phone gives immediate stimulation. At night, you're depleted, looking for something easy. Either way, you're in the exact state where convenience wins. Designing around that fact matters. If the device isn't nearby, or if an analog option stands in its place, you never face the hardest part of the habit loop. Try this structure for a single day. Phone in the kitchen at night, cheap alarm next to bed. On waking, drink water, stretch, then write down one task you want finished. Leave the phone untouched for an hour. At night, close all feeds an hour before sleep, write one line reviewing what worked during the day, then read 2 pages of a physical book. It's just 2 short windows you've reclaimed. Yet by framing the morning with clarity and the evening with closure, you give yourself margins of calm that bleed into every other moment. Compare that day with a standard pattern of waking to alerts and falling asleep in front of feeds. The structure isn't difficult, but the trajectory diverges completely. And here's the real significance. Those 2 windows don't just control your energy, they control your sense of agency. The act of starting and ending the day on your own terms builds a foundation of consistency. Even if the middle hours get messy with obligations and distractions, those margins belong to you.